Hey y'all, hello. If you did not know, it's October. It's the first week of October, and that means it's Banned Book Week. So if you did not know, every single year, ALA, the American Library Association, does this huge celebration of basically talking about, discussing, uplifting, encouraging people to read banned books. And so I did this video last year. I actually did 2 videos for Banned Book Week last year, which took place in September this year. They pushed it forward and it's taking place in October. And this year I'm going to be doing 2 videos again. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm saying that now, but I'm currently working on that second video. But this one definitely is going to go up, but I'm hoping that the second one will go up a couple of days from this one. And the video that I did last year is that I talked about some banned books that I think that people should definitely check out. I think some of these may be repeats, some of these may be a little bit different, but I wanted to give you, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 10 different titles. I actually had a lot more. I think I was getting close to like 15, 20 titles that I have read or own that I have read that are now banned titles. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to cut this short because we all know like I like to talk a lot. And I wouldn't fit do that like this entire, no, we weren't gonna do it. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about each one of these 10 books and my impressions of them. I've read all of them. I have enjoyed all of them. And I was able to pull these titles from Pen America. So I do want to express and kind of explain that Pen America keeps a more detailed I guess log of books that have been banned and challenged, like where they've been banned or challenged, why they've been banned or challenged, whether they're in the process of being reviewed by a school district, so they're specifically looking at school libraries, whereas with the American Library Association, we're looking at those titles that are like the top books, meaning that we are searching for those books that have gotten the most number of challenges and bans. So some of these have been actively banned and challenged by multiple school libraries in the 2022-2023 school year, and some of these have only gotten a few challenges and bans according to the information that Pen America has acquired. So I'm going to leave multiple links to different information down in the description box below, including ALA's site for Banned Books Week. I will also leave information related to Pen America, and you can check out their full list that they have for the 2022-2023 school year. And that's about it. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so the first book that I have here is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. We all know that this is one that I recently read as part of my banned book diary, and I gave it 5 stars. This definitely has been banned and challenged for a plethora of things, and content wise it is extremely heavy, but this is not a book that you're going to go and find in the elementary school. The times that I have seen The Bluest Eye as a part of curriculum is usually for an IB English or an AP English class, and it's optional. But of course, with the content of the nature of the content of this book, the fact that it's written by a Black woman, people are just not going to be happy about it regardless. This is my second time reading it. It probably will be a good while before I read it again because it focuses on a young Black girl who desires to have blue eyes, and it's directly affiliated with some trauma that she's experiencing at the hands of family, and it is tough. This is not an easy book, but if you're interested in knowing more of my thoughts about this one, I will leave the link to that vlog up in the description box above. Next thing I have here is All American Boys. This is by Jason Reynolds and Brendan Keeley. Y'all know I'm a huge fan of Jason Reynolds. I've heard him speak about all of his works, including All American Boys. This one often gets banned and challenged because of its representation of police officers. It focuses on a young Black boy who gets accused of stealing something that he didn't steal and ends up getting assaulted by a cop. And it's also told from the perspective of another boy who is white, whose friend is the brother of the cop. Want to make sure I got that right. And so we get this back and forth narrative of like what happens in the community, what happens in the school, and a lot of people, of course, whenever we speak about things like police brutality, they're not down for it. They don't want to hear it. This is one of those books, I know a lot of people, when they think about police brutality or representation of police and its relationship to the Black community, people often think of Angie Thomas, The Hate U Give, but this one actually came before that. And there are others prior to this that talk about the relationship between the Black community, police department, and police brutality, Black Lives Matter. So I really enjoyed this. I know Jason Reynolds said that there are some aspects of it that he would go back and rewrite or fix, but this was their first project together, and I've only read it once, but when I read it, I did actively enjoy it. This one is actually a big surprise to me. I was not expecting to see this on Pen America's list, but when it popped up, I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't read this book in like 3 years. This is Not So Pure and Simple by Lamar Giles. I really enjoyed what Lamar Giles did with this one, and I didn't even really understand why this one had been challenged or banned. Like I'm confused as to what about this would... I don't understand why any book is banned or challenged, to be honest with you, because we all know I'm a huge proponent of you need to be actively aware of what your child is reading. But this one is an interesting look at patriarchy and like Black men and Black boys and how they could play into patriarchy. And the way that Lamar does it is very intriguing, because I think that the main character is annoying in certain ways and pushy, but it's intentional because it's through his level of being annoying or pushy that we get to understand a little bit more about how he's not aware of his position as a Black man in society and what that means for Black women, and how he thinks he's being different, but in his thought process of being different, he's actually engaging in the patriarchy and pushing the boundaries of some things that he's not really actively aware of. Like I said, it's been a couple of years since I've read this one, but I really did enjoy it when I read it, and I was shocked. I was shocked. I was shocked to see this one on the list. Next one I have on this list is one that is always banned and challenged. This is no surprise. I think I recommend Speak every single year. I reread this for the vlog that I did last year during Banned Books Week. It had been years since I read Speak. If you did not know, there's also a movie adaptation of Speak that has Kristen Stewart, whatever, the Twilight person, the Twilight human stars in this one. This is about a young girl who ends up breaking the silence on an event that happens during the summer that gets a high school summer party rated, and there is a specific reason as to why she decides to make that call. This has a lot to do with discussions around rape and assault and the lengths that people will go to protect those who are the actual assaultants of, and the things that people will do in order to protect those who are responsible for raping and assaulting women. This is a classic. This is one that it's difficult to read, but I think it's one that's necessary. It came out so long ago. I think this came out almost 20 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like it came out, yeah, this came out in 1999. And so to have these conversations with teens about, you know, rape and assault and what it means to speak out or speak up and do the right thing, and how difficult it is for victims to speak up about what they've experienced because of the potential to, one, not be believed, and in this high school situation to be bullied, to be victimized, to be victim blamed. It's a lot, and I applaud Lori Halls Anderson for having those difficult conversations, but this one is always banned and challenged, but I cannot recommend this one enough. The next one that I have is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. This one recently has been coming into the circuit more of being banned and challenged because somehow, some way, someone has gotten a hold of this book. They have copied pieces and parts of this book and have taken a lot of it, I think personally, in my opinion, out of context, and have essentially made it so they've made it so, or have framed it to be an extremely inappropriate book. But if you know anything about Monday's Not Coming, it is a 5-star read for me. It is an extremely difficult book. This book had me in tears. It deals a lot with the conversations around missing Black girls and women and the lack of care and awareness that society puts into Black girls and Black women who go missing. And there are a lot of content warnings for this because it is a truly horrific story, but it's also, in my opinion, a necessary story that is impacting a community with the age group that would be reading this. It is directly impacting them. And so I always find it so difficult to want to take away, or to understand why people want to take away from the experiences of some people who would be reading this book. You're saying that their experience is inappropriate, and a lot of times it's not anything that they can control. Most times it's not anything that they can control. So you're invalidating someone's human existence. It's just wild. I would check out the content warnings on this one though before diving into it. It is a very powerful, memorable, influential book that I know, because of the way that it's been targeted and the way that it has been copied and passed around. Unfortunately, I think this is going to be one of those ones now that's going to be continuously banned and challenged as we go through the years. The next one that I have is one that has been around for years as well, and this one now is also becoming more banned and challenged. It's Perfectly Normal. This is the, I believe this is the updated version. I was sent this copy last year in honor and in celebration of Banned Books Week, but I feel like this is the updated version of this one, if I'm not mistaken. This is a puberty book. This is appropriate, as it said, for ages 10 and up. And now this book has been sexualized and it is being pulled off the shelves because there are parents who believe that this book is inappropriate. However, as someone who did not have a puberty conversation nor the sex talk with a parent and learn from friends in very incorrect ways, and now has a child of my own, books like this are a resource. It's one thing to feel like something is not appropriate in your household, but it's another to want to take away a resource from other families who may not have any other way of having these conversations. This is a literal book that talks about how your body changes, what it's like growing up. It has conversations about sex, gender, and sexual health, and can be a vital support system for any parent who has a child in their household, parent or caregiver that has a child in their household that is going through puberty, has questions about sex, has questions about sexual health, sexuality, and gender. And you, as an adult, don't always have the answers to everything. I know adults who can't answer the questions that are in this book. And that comes from a lack of education. And so those of us who want to make sure that we are giving our youth the most accurate and healthy responses to questions about their bodies, about sex, about gender, so that they know how to protect themselves and protect others, it's just kind of wild to want to take that off the shelf. So if you're looking for a puberty book where you need some support, or you have a child that's asking questions about it, this is the one to check out. Now, I was going back and forth on including graphic novels on this because I am going to be doing a little bit of this content on my Realm of Comics channel as well. But I did want to include this here because it still blows my mind every single time that I think about the fact that this book was and has been challenged and banned, and that's New Kid by Jerry Craft. This is literally about a young boy's experience going to a predominantly white school and having to deal with the microaggressions that exist at the school that comes from both teachers and from students. And it's literally about his experience going to a predominantly white institution, which for a lot of Black kids, this is exactly what we experience. This book literally was, I know in one particular situation, was literally not only pulled from a shelf, but Jerry Craft was supposed to go and speak at the school. He was then no longer invited to speak at the school unless it was an after school activity, because they no longer want to allow him to use school time because they said this book teaches CRT. Nothing about this book teaches anything related to critical race theory. Critical race theory is not even taught in schools, okay? We're talking law school is when critical race theory comes up. If someone's existence as being Black and what it's like to navigate a predominantly white space is CRT, like, I guess that this has been a thing since the beginning of time, because at the end of the day, I don't think that you should challenge or ban anything, but it continuously blows my mind when I think that someone's mere existence, their experience, is problematic for some parents. There's nothing about this at a CRT. It's not to make white children feel guilty. It is a way for people to understand what it is like to go to school and not only just deal with the normal stresses of being a teenager, being a student, dealing with friends, dealing with relationships, dealing with academics, but then you have to deal with the fact that you are Black in a sea of white people, and some people are making comments and doing certain things, especially stereotyping you, and not even realizing that they're doing it, and it causes you issues. And a lot of this, and what you see in this book, is a lot of implicit bias at play. And I think it's important for people to realize that, because we all have implicit bias, right? We all have our biases about different communities that have been ingrained in us from parents and caregivers, from society itself. And you see a lot of that at play. This is a good piece of work for conversation. This is a book that is good for dialoguing, and yet we are pulling it off the shelves because we had a parent complain that it teaches CRT. And I promise you, all shade, all tea, this parent doesn't know what CRT is because there's no CRT in this book. And the last 3 things that I'm going to show you are all picture books. These are picture books that have all been challenged or banned. And I'm so confused as to why they have even been challenged or banned. It's wild that they've been challenged or banned. So the first one I have is Fry Bread. Then I have I Am Enough by Grace Byers. And then I have Hair Love. There are a lot of other picture books that I actually own that have been challenged and banned. And I don't have them actively like pulled out, but these are 3 that I know according to their website that have been challenged or banned that I own. And all of these specifically deal with experiences, the experiences of marginalized communities in America. And half the time, it's not even really talking about it in context of anybody else except celebration. Hair Love is about loving your hair and a relationship between a father and a daughter. I Am Enough is teaching kids that your mere existence and who you are is enough. And you don't have to listen to anybody that wants to tell you otherwise. Fry Bread is literally about celebrating the Native American experience, with fry bread being a huge part of their culture. And so you're banning and challenging someone's mere existence and their culture. Literally, when I saw that fry bread was challenged, I literally was blown away. I said, for what? For why? Fry bread for what? Why are we challenging and banning stuff like this? And so for me, I think that it is a pure indication that anybody that is not white, cis, heterosexual, Christian is a problem. That's the energy and the vibe that it gives. And I always get aggravated every time I do these videos because I think about the fact that I've read all of these books and I own so many more on my shelf that have now been challenged or banned. I am never not blown away at this point, and it's awfully sad. So those are 10 books that I think you should check out that have been banned and challenged, specifically in school districts. I think that some of these I know have been challenged or banned in public libraries, but this is the information that's being pulled from Pen America, where we're specifically talking about school libraries. But definitely read all these. They're worth a read. Check them out. I think you should read them. They're amazing. I loved all of these. I'm still blown away by these picture books. I don't think I'm ever going to get over that. But yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. If you're looking for ways to support the channel, all the links will be down in the description box below, and I will be back with another video soon. I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all